Hi everyone, this is Eagle News. I am Rose Papa Angeles in Washington. It's Saturday, the 8th of October 2022, here in the nation's capital. The week's recap begins now. 4 months after the start of record monsoon rains in Pakistan linked to climate change, the standing water has curdled into a pestilence soup breeding malaria, cholera, and dengue. The United Nations has warned of a second wave of catastrophe. The UN says there is a risk that deaths from waterborne diseases and malnutrition will outstrip the 1,700 drowned and electrocuted in the initial cascade. Climate Change Minister Sherry Rahman says more than 20 million people are still in need, with futures that are entirely precarious. She says 8 million of those require urgent medical services. Before the floods, southern Pakistan was already devastated by grinding poverty. Aid only sporadically penetrates the patchwork swampland. The true number of those in need has yet to even be discovered as doctors and officials grapple to understand the scale. In other news, with 19 American states and 2 territories facing serious obesity risk, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warns that there is an urgent need to prevent and treat obesity for every state and community. Rosel Feria reports.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, says there is an urgent need to address widespread national disparities in obesity. CDC reports that there are 19 states and 2 territories that have at least 35% of residents with adult obesity. This doubles the number of states with a high obesity prevalence since 2018. The 2021 adult obesity prevalence maps also highlights the need to address disparities in obesity across states and racial and ethnic populations through increased access to obesity prevention and treatment. Adults with obesity are at increased risk for many other serious health conditions such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, some cancers, severe outcomes from COVID-19, and poor mental health. Add to this the stigmatization of many because of their weight. According to CDC Acting Principal Director Dr. Deborah Howry, there is an urgent need to prevent and treat obesity for every state and community. She mentions the need to provide stigma-free support, which can save lives and reduce severe outcomes of the disease. CDC says key actions and resources that can help slow and ultimately reverse the obesity pandemic include supporting healthy individual lifestyle changes, access to healthy foods, healthcare services, obesity treatment programs, and safe places for physical activities and exercises. Rosel Feria, Washington, D.C., Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Meanwhile, millions of Californians will see extra money in their bank accounts, ranging from $200 to $1,050. Mylene Cusio tells us why.
Gas prices are rising, and with food prices soaring, many Californians are feeling the impact in their wallets. Relief is here with one-time payments to residents starting this week until January of next year. Payments will be issued via direct deposit for the first round of payments from October 7th through November 14. The second round will be paid via debit card from October 25 to January 15, ranging from $400 to $1,050 for couples filing together and $200 to $1,050 for individuals. The amount depends on adjusted gross income levels from filed 2020 state tax returns. Known as the Middle Class Tax Refund, California Governor Gavin Newsom announces this financial assistance being given from the state.
On October 7th, up to 23 million Californians will begin to benefit from the nation's largest state tax refund, some $9.5 billion. The first round of these payments, up to $1,050, will be direct deposited to Californians, helping with rising costs from, the grocery store to the gas pump. We're doing our best to help offset rising costs.
To be eligible, you must be a California resident and not be claimed as a dependent. Mylene Cusio, Los Angeles. Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
In Canada, Education workers of the province of Ontario vote 96% in favor of a strike. These include administrators, counselors, teachers, aides, custodians. Joshua Santillana in Toronto tells us their current employment situation and what they want changed.
The Ontario School Board Council of Unions, OSBCU, and the Canadian Union of Public Employees, CUPE Ontario, has released overwhelming results this week for an education workers' strike vote. Out of 55,000 education workers under CUPE in Ontario, nearly 45,500 voted yes to a strike. That is 96.5% of CUPE education workers who are asking for fair wages in the province. Education workers are paid an average of only $39,000 a year, or about $20 per hour. This is below the average living wage in the Greater Toronto Area of about $22 per hour. Many education workers are working additional jobs to make ends meet. The province has offered 33 to 53 cents pay increase to the lowest paid education workers. Laura Walton, president of OSBCU, calls the offer insulting, especially during a 7% inflation period. Ontario's Minister of Education, Stephen Lecce, has expressed his opinion about the strike, emphasizing that concerns should be about kids and parents who want their children in classrooms. Many Ontarians rebutted, including former politician and Order of Canada recipient Sherry DeNovo, asking Lecce if he would be willing to earn the wage of what a CUPE education worker makes. Joshua Santillana, Toronto, Ontario. Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Several stories from Thomas' likeness today, from how Argentines are turning to bartering as they find ways to combat inflation, to restaurants in Spain cutting down what they offer on their Menú del Día, to a possible remedy to climate change. These stories and more on Correspondent at Large.
And now news and commentary from around the globe. Inflation. We feel it every day as we try to make ends meet. These days we run the risk of having more month than money. And that's what's happened to a lot of folks in Argentina. Here at this market in the Plaza de Mayo in Buenos Aires, your money's no good. They don't want it. Instead, people have gone back to bartering. It's a protest against inflation and low wages. Several of these markets were set up across the country. At this location, people exchange what they want to trade for coupons, and then they use those coupons to purchase the goods they need. Bartering is not new to Argentina. It was quite common during the financial crises of 1989 and 2001. Inflation is also taking a toll on a tradition in Spain, the country's legendary lunch menu. It's called the Menú del Día, or set lunch menu. The three-course menu has a starter dish, a main course, and dessert or coffee. Now, this was decreed in 1964 by then-dictator Francisco Franco. Restaurants were ordered to offer a tourist menu to cater to the growing waves of visitors to the Spanish coast. Most restaurants still offer it for just under $13 American. Now, that's about 765 pesos. It's very popular. You know, Spain is a country where people frequently eat out. But with inflation running around 10%, restaurants are looking to economize with fewer courses and smaller portions. The days of the cheap lunch may be numbered. Well, the lunch here isn't cheap, and it's not for everyone. Matter of fact, it's just for dogs. And that's the name of the place. It's called Dog. Now, it's spelled D-O-G-U-E. In French, that would be pronounced dog. It caters to our four-legged friends. Just opened and is serving a $75 tasting menu. That's 4,500 pesos. This canine eatery is run by San Francisco chef Ramini Massare. He's a trained French chef. He's married his love of French cuisine with his passion for nurturing dogs with healthy food. All of the ingredients are organic. What are some of the choices Fido might have? Well, organic beef chuck steak with fermented carrots and beets. Here's another one, green-lipped mussels with fermented carrots and wheatgrass. Masarwe says he's had the menu vetted by his dog's vet to make sure it's healthy. Penguin colonies in South Africa that are near extinction face a new menace. A new strain of avian flu, that's bird flu, it's posing a threat to the already endangered African penguins. 28 of them have been diagnosed with the infection, which is untreatable. Veterinarian Dr. David Roberts says the penguin population is already under pressure. That's because of a lack of food, habitat destruction, and a collapse of the ocean's ecosystem.
They're endangered and their numbers are still going down. And in those cases, we are worried that a disease might just push them over the edge. It's that extra stress that could cause a population level event. They can't really handle any extra pressures on their population.
The Boulders Penguin Colony is located near Cape Town. It's home to about 3,000 African penguins. These birds, incidentally, are exclusively found on South African waters. You hear a lot of doom and gloom these days, especially when it comes to climate change. Canadian climate scientist Catherine Hayhoe says action and hope are a remedy to those dark clouds in people's minds. She says everyone can make a difference, even through small changes. Hayhoe says she sees more and more people just giving up. They're saying it's over, there's nothing we can do.
But instead of then spending time with the people we love, doing the things we love in the places we love, they take to social media to convert more people to the cause of we are doomed and there's nothing we can do. But here's the thing, we're only doomed if we decide we are.
Sadly, for many people, they don't know where to turn for hope. Back in 7 days, and in the meantime, I wish you all peace, joy, and happiness in the ensuing week. Thomas I. Likeness, Correspondent at Large, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
In Australia, 76 years of diplomatic relations with the Philippines have been celebrated, recognizing community leaders that keep the bond strong. In Perth, Janeline Despy on this week's Oceania at a Glance.
On September 10, 2022, the 76th Philippines-Australia Diplomatic Relations Anniversary was celebrated at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Perth, organized and presented by the Filipino Community Council of Western Australia Incorporated, or FCCWA.
The program started with a parade of colors, followed by the singing of the national anthems of Australia and the Philippines respectively. The FCCWA President, Shelo Franklin, welcomed the guests with a message emphasizing the diplomatic relations between the Australia and the Philippines, which began in 1946. Several government officials of Western Australia joined in the celebrations, addressing the crowd as well. Highlighting the event were the presentation of the Leadership Excellence Award handed to Philippine Honorary Consul to WA, Attorney Virma Simons, and the Distinguished Service Award given to Attorney Alan Gomez. Modern and cultural dances and music were part of the entertainment. FCCWA President Shelo Franklin and Perth City Councillor Victor Ko shared with us their thoughts about the occasion.
This celebration does actually show how deep the history with the Filipino people go with the Australian story as well. And this is an opportunity for us to actually share it with the community. So I'll say I'm really honoured and very happy to be able to represent the city at this event.
As we know, we have so many Filipinos living here in Australia right now, and we enjoy living here. We love Australia. So to give back to the community and to make sure that everyone's having fun, so it's not all work. Yeah, we celebrate this special event.
Janeline Despy, Perth, Australia. Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Back here in the U.S., the Department of Education issues over $116 million to fund public schools and agencies working to address equity for students and teachers in their community. Philip Toledo tells us more on this week's Learning Curve.
Recently, U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona and his administration announced 19 new Magnet School Assistance Program awards totaling $110 million, as well as 4 new Equity Assistance Center, or EAC, grants totaling $6.5 million. The grant awards will fund new regional EACs to provide technical assistance to public schools and agencies working to address equity for students and teachers in their community. They also support efforts to assist in schools to prepare, adopt, and implement plans of desegregation, as well as general training and assistance in the areas of civil rights, equity, and school reform. This, the administration says, helps schools and communities ensure equitable education opportunities are available and accessible for all children. The Magnet School Assistance Program Awards will help support efforts to better academically challenging and innovative instructional approaches in magnet schools. They aim to bring students together from varying backgrounds. The grantees, spread across school districts in several states, will launch a variety of programming in all 5 areas of STEAM learning: career development, leadership skills, and language immersion. Secretary Cardona says every child has something to offer this country, and they deserve access to effective educators, inclusive and supportive learning environments, and innovative, engaging programs that unlock their potential and lead to success. He says these grants will help better serve students who too often get left behind. Philip Toledo, Learning Curve, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
The World Health Organization and its partners introduced what they call the most extensive virtual health worker. It is designed to assist people when it comes to a variety of health topics. More on this story from Jeff Sanidad on Health is Wealth.
Her name is Florence. She is the AI-powered World Health Organization digital health worker who can share advice on mental health, give tips to distress, provide guidance on how to eat right, be more active, and quit tobacco and e-cigarettes. She can also offer information on COVID-19 vaccines and more. World Health Organization Florence has helped fight misinformation around COVID-19 since the beginning of the pandemic. It is estimated that 1 in every 8 people in the world lives with mental disorder, with the pandemic having a significant effect on mental health. Topics offered by Florence include tobacco and unhealthy diet, killing 16 million people every year, and physical inactivity, killing an estimated 830,000. These deaths are due to diseases like cancer, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes that can be prevented and can be controlled with the right support. World Health Organization team lead for digital channels, Andy Pattison, says the AI health worker Florence shows the potential to harness technology to promote and protect people's physical and mental health. At the World Innovation Summit for Health, or WISH conference in Qatar, World Health Organization released the beta version of Florence 2.0 to interact with scientists, public health organizations, entrepreneurs, and policymakers. WISH plans to continue to develop the digital health worker to help meet major health issues facing the world today. Florence 2.0 is now available in English, with Arabic, French, Spanish, Chinese, Hindi, and Russian to follow. Jeff Sanidad, Washington, D.C., Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
With the use of electric vehicles rising and the demand for clean energy increasing, the Environmental Protection Agency announces a more efficient approval process for chemicals used in the technology. Melissa Potes reports on Down to Earth.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency says it will make it easier to approve chemicals used to produce renewable energy in electric vehicles. The agency says it will streamline the risk assessment and mitigation measures process for a class of substances known as mixed metal oxides. They are chemicals used in batteries, semiconductors, solar panels, and wind turbines. They contain lithium, nickel, cobalt, and other metals. The agency says the more efficient process will allow manufacturers to bring the products to market sooner. Melissa Potas, Orlando, Florida, Down to Earth, Eagle News.
Before we let you go, here's our photo of the week by Eagle News friend Seth Danielle A. Paras. This is Urban Light by artist Chris Burden. According to the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, or LACMA, the 202 cast iron lamps once lit the streets of Los Angeles. Buying the first one of the Rose Bowl flea market and then collecting and restoring the rest. Burden says street lamps like these were symbols of a civilized and sophisticated city, safe after dark and beautiful to behold. LACMA says the lights all still work and they are now powered by solar energy. They are switched on every night at dusk. The lights are lit until 10 p.m. Thank you all for joining us again. If there are stories or topics you want us to share with you, just comment below. View, like, share other shows, City Limits with Alan Basayahe, Connected with Dr. David, Take a Seat and Join Us with Anna Kui, Plate Date with Mike Hudson and Friends, plus Journey, Stories of Filipinos in Canada with Kathleen Cruz. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Eagle News Live. I am Rose Papa Angeles. We live in extraordinary times. Happy weekend, everyone!